organizations, they need multiple leaders to handle the people they have inside. So they have to develop leaders internally from their existing workforce, or maybe they can bring in leaders from other sources as well externally to use those leaders inside the organization. Now, if we take this triangle here, a basic of an organization, you have employees. They are bottom level employees. They simply manage themselves. So personal management, individual management. And these people, they may work in teams, so you may have some leaders to manage those teams. So the leadership starts from this point. Leaders, they manage these teams. And when you have multiple teams, you need to have a leader to manage the leaders of these teams. So leaders managing leaders. And after that, you need the leader on top of your organization. He manages every leader, managing organization as a whole. When organizations work on developing leaders inside, it takes two major steps. Number one is to identify the right talent. You cannot simply go and pick one randomly. No, you have to have some idea, you have to have your strategy, so you pick the right talent there, right personnel there. Number two is about developing that identified talent on the long run. You never develop leaders overnight, it takes time. So long-term development of leaders. So let's see how to identify the right talent from your employee pool. You have too many employees, and employees work with supervisors or team leaders. Team leaders are the people, they interact with these employees. So in the interaction, they may spot certain people from their pool with the talent. So they can propose those guys to the decision maker, and those guys, they do some interviews or some observations on this particular employee, and they pick the guy. And the position they pick the guy to develop as the leader is always above the supervisor's position. This may make some biases, because supervisor, he picks someone underneath of him and he proposes him to be over him later. So there may be chances of having biases on this. But anyway, companies, they use this kind of method to identify talent. There are other alternatives as well to identify your employees. This time, the talent manager from the HR department is involved to identify the talent from your employee pool instead of the supervisor. So talent managers, they may do some interviews, some observations, maybe short-term observations, maybe otherwise they can look into the past record of the employees, having considered all these criterions. They may propose someone to the decision maker, and the decision maker, okay, he picks it and they train those guys. Now, the disadvantage is talent manager doesn't have much of an interaction with these guys, so his decision may be not the right decision. There may be chances of bias. However, companies, they use this as well to identify talent. Right, now you have done the identification, you have people in hand with talent, so we have to develop the leadership in those people. So you have to do this on the long run, 5 years, 10 years and so on. So you work on them, having trainings regularly, having work placement to lead people regularly, and whatever the options you have, whatever the courses that you have, whatever the opportunities that you have, get used to that and develop those guys on the long run.